Hello, everyone. The next talk is a great example of how Shiny can streamline the exploratory data analysis and help thousands of data scientists in an organization. It also shares the success story of the first Shiny app submission to the FDA, but Eric will delve more into that topic tomorrow during his talk. Today, we will focus on the open source package Teal, which makes it possible. To introduce Teal, we have two amazing speakers, Pavel Rutsky and Donny Anardi. Pavel is a principal data scientist and chief engineer at Roche. He is responsible for one of the largest R-based projects in the pharma industry, and you'll see his hands all around the Teal ecosystem. Donny is a data scientist with over a decade of experience in the pharma industry. He's an R evangelist who implements R solutions at Roche. Just last month, Donny showcased Teal at the R adoption webinar. So, without further ado, I'm so happy to introduce Pavel and Donny to the stage.
So,
Hello,
Hello.
guys.
The stage is yours.
Donny, can you present?
Yes.
All right, folks, so let's rock and roll. First of all, thanks for having us on this great conference. Yeah, and we have only 30 minutes, so let's go with the content. There's lots of to share, so let's go. First, if you can go to the next slide, please. Yes, who we are. So we are, after a good introduction, I would like to mention that this presentation was co-authored by Chendi Liao, our colleague from Roche, so also full credits to her. And let's move on. That's our agenda for today. I will start with the business context, and this is relevant to understand why we are doing this. And this is also good to know the business problem that our tool aims to address. Then we will be talking about how to use the Teal as a data scientist at Roche. We just go very quickly through the key features. We will talk about the Tealverse product map, and then we go to the demo session where Donny will be presenting some real life code examples, and that's going to be super entertaining. Please note that this presentation is somehow inspired by the R consortium that Vertha just mentioned, but obviously we need to squeeze the content because we have only 30 minutes, then we have more than 1 hour. So it's also an introduction called introduction. So there's lots of content to be shared, but unfortunately we can go very deep into the code, even if we want, but we have to fit into the time. All right, so who we are and where we are working on. So we are part of the product development data science. This obviously tells you nothing, but what you can associate our working environment with is that we are doing clinical trials reporting. What are clinical trials? If you can go to the next slide. Some part of you are probably after some statistical background, and you might know Kaplan-Meier curve. That's one of the key outputs of the clinical trials overall reports. And those are very quick and very basic examples, just to give you some insight of Kaplan-Meier curve. You compare two populations, treatment with some baseline, you compare overall survival, you compare progression-free survival, you do this on the subpopulation. And the old way of working is that you have to do the 3 programs separately. So you type your code for one, type your code for the second, for the third. You have plenty, a lot of code to be written, and that's obviously not efficient. And our idea how to make it as follows. To have an app that basically within few clicks, you can get the output that you want. You can interactively browse through the module configuration, as well as slice and dice the data that you feed in the app. So that's our idea, how we wanted to improve that. All right, let's move on. So what is Teal exactly? I very call it a framework, because essentially this is an R package, but we call it a framework because it's some sort of umbrella tool that you have to feed the models with. And after you do that, you can create the app that you want. And this has like the core Teal has plenty of features that if you create your app, you have those features like for free. That includes filtering, as you saw. That includes code reproducibility. That's very important for the clinical trials world. You have reporting engine and many modules that we have built so far. All right, so how does the Teal work? Well, I would say not so different than the usual Shiny app, because usually you have to create your data collection of the data set, and then implement your logic in Shiny. After yesterday session, you probably know that you have to do everything via modules. So in Teal, it's nothing different. There are a little bit more overhead on the modules, such as you have to provide the label of the module to be displayed in the app. But essentially, the concept is very similar with some slight add-ons that you have to create your collection of data sets. You have to create your modules, create the app, like collection of modules, create your app objects that consist essentially in the two parts of UI and server, deploy it, and then use it. I would like to spend 3 or 2 minutes on how to use that, because it has some significant implication downstream. As you saw, we are creating the packages, not the apps. And that's a very prominent difference. We are creating the packages for the app developers, for the R programmers internally, so that we distinguish between the app user and app developer. App developer consume outcome of our work, create the Teal app, create the Teal modules, deploy it to RStudio, POSIT Connect, then ping the stakeholders, hey, this is my app URL, please take it and use it. Right, very simple setup. We extended a little bit by Teal module developer, so a little bit more experienced are programmers that are capable of doing Shiny reactive programming. So as opposite to the Teal app developer. So Teal app developer is just calling the functions essentially, and Teal module developer are doing their custom models to present the custom outputs of their app, right? And that's a little bit more extensive setup. And on the next slide, you will see the real life setup. So as you might know, Roche is a very big company, and there are multiple studies done in parallel. There are so-called study team that create a fit for purpose app that serves their needs, right? So there are different, let's say, group of people for the study team number 1, study team number 2, etc. We have within each of the study, we have study app users, study app developers, and study app custom module developers. But we distinguish also out of this some general modules that serves the need of multiple studies, and those are, let's say, this middle box, pink box, is like general modules to be used by multiple studies. So I would like just to mention, just underline one key difference is that this is how we imagine shipping our product. So we are not creating huge mega app that serves all the needs, or huge mega app that you will upload your data with. We are instead creating the packages for a little bit more experienced audience, stakeholders, capable R programmers who are capable of creating the app on their own. All right, so let's move on. Very quickly go through the key features. One of my favorite one, and one of the things that our stakeholders value the most, is that is the filter panel, something that will appear on the right hand side, which can allow you to slice and dice into your data interactively. You can select the columns that you wanted to apply your filter, and obviously the values then. And it's a great example of object-oriented programming within Shiny. I value this like the most. It's like countless hours of design thinking about that, prototyping, and then implementing. It's a great example of collaborative work within that. All right, next. Show R code, reproducibility, very similar to Erlang's Clojure. So this is nothing more than code along with the environment that it creates. So maybe you can see that in your screen, that if the user will be going through the app, each of the click trans are being translated into the code that at the very end is executed to produce the main output. And we are giving the end user the code that recreates the output. All right, next. Reporting, reporter feature, relatively new. So this is something to address the need that our users wanted to leave the app with something tangible, not only previewer, but actually some output and with the code, because we all obviously have it. So why don't to export that? So we have created those 3 buttons that are present on the left in the main panel that allows you to clip the output that you see, and then export this at the very end of your app journey. Next one. And obviously, lots of modules. Those are general ones, data agnostic ones that can consume non-clinical data. Those are clinical data ones, very specific, but we also have internally biomarker. So everything, like, I'm not gonna say everything, but a lot of is possible within Teal. All right, let's move on. And today, there is a statement that I very much agree with. If you have something, just create a package out of that. So please welcome the Teal Universe product map. We try to encapsulate each of the feature into separate package so that it can live on its own with its own release cycle, lifetime cycle, etc. So on the left-hand side, you will see key features encapsulated into separate package. In the middle panel, you will see packages that consist of modules. And those modules packages are using calculations also encapsulated into separate package. So as a most prominent example, we've got Tern that does clinical reporting, especially the tables as well as graphs. And this is somehow wrapped into higher level Teal modules clinical collection of modules that you can feed your Teal app with. All right, let's move on. So this is, again, short summary with the links. We'll upload the presentation, so you will be able to see its code. The next slide. How to use that? Everything is open sourced for quite a while within our GitHub. We are not on CRAN yet. It's on the pipeline. But right now you can go and open Insight Engineering Teal. Teal has a very decent README file that can guide you through all of the rest of the packages. So basically you can install and play it on your own right now. And I need to stop. pass the ball to Donny, who will present some sexy part of the presentation, which is demo.
Thank you so much, Pavel. Just want to confirm, can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. All right, so for my demo today, I will be showing you just a little bit more of a taste of what Teal app looks like. I do want to plug in this playground area that I'm using with Posit Cloud. That, you know, this is a great place to start. We will share the link to this workspace after this, and everybody can just come in, open a free Posit Cloud account, and open their own space. So what this does is when you click on this link, you have Teal packages installed already within that space. So no need to pollute your local environment if you want to explore. And I also provided several examples for you to try. So it's a great place to just get started. Let me try to reload this again. There you go. All right, so the first example, I got a couple example code here, and I'll try to make it quick to our time limitation. But the first I'm going to show you, I'm going to plug in an example app from our Teal Gallery R package. So Teal Gallery is kind of similar with the Shiny Gallery. It's just we try to showcase a different possible category of analysis that you can use within Teal. So what I'm doing here, I'm showing you some of our efficacy analysis examples. You've seen all the features that Pavel already talked about. So this is just a quick go through of some of those features, kind of see it live. So off the bat, you have the header right there. Then you see a lot of different tabs here. And these are essentially, we call it the Teal module, but these are analysis that you can do with your Teal app. So as I move into different module, you can see the analysis getting loaded right away. What's pop up right away is, of course, the middle part. This is your visualization table. Is right here. So as you can see here, this is a KM plot, a little bit too long. I mean, too tall for me. Let's make it shorter a little bit. So that looks much better already. So Teal does provide you with this controls within the images. You can download it. You can open it even more clearer. Again, right off the bat, we have the filter panel. This is ability for you to subset your data and just explore it freely. So let's do that. Let's say I want to drop, say, one category from my biomarker. So let's see, I just dropped the low one. And these are all sample data, by the way, guys. So that's great. As you can see, the visualization and the filter summary just reacting right away to my actions. So that's the filter panel. Then we have the left-hand side area called the encodings. So the encoding pretty much like the controls of your visualization. So just to go back again to Pavel's discussion before about overall survival and progression-free survival, this is it. Like as simple as a simple click, then you can change your analysis right away. So that's great. Also, again, reproducibility is huge, big thing in pharma, right? If you analyze something, you found some interesting findings, you should be able to reproduce it. So let me demonstrate the show our code that's going on here. So we have a little snippet of our code. I'm going to copy to my clipboard. This is my local R Studio. I'm just going to let it run. So while that's running, I'm just going to prove it that it is an exact same visual analysis. So we can see here drug X has 491.2. So if I come back again here and I just zoom in real quick, 491.2, right? So that's reproducibility right there. Amazing. Good. All right. So again, with the reporter feature, we have a lot of use case. I guess this is also true for if you see multiple analysis that you like within different module and you want to share it, make a publication. That's what the report is for. You can make one downloadable report for you to do this real quick. So let me demonstrate that for you. So let's say we like this KM plot. This is for progression-free analysis. So I'll do that, and I'm just gonna add a card there. So then I'm going to see the demography of the subjects. I'll just switch it over. As you can see, the filter state stays. So that's great. I'm just going to take a card, add a new card here, and then we can say demographics. and I add it right here. Great. Now, the report previewer will show you the two different cards that we just added. So we have the summary table and we have the Kaplan-Meier plot. So if you can see in this two, they're similar in category, which shows here, pretty much showing you what the report looks like before you download it. We have some images here. We have some filter states situation there. Then we have the QR code on the bottom and the comments that you put in. We do have several metadata that you can pre-populate before you download, and you can download this in 4 different types. So if we download the report, and I'll just open the report right away here, then you can see there are a couple of assets. We have the PNG file, which is the visualization itself. Then any table will get converted into RDS. Then we have HTML file, your actual report, and the RMD file. It's just in case you want to make some changes, you want to add a new content, and you can just simply fix this and rename it again, right? So that's great. I'm going to move on to my second example code here. I want to show you how easy it is to kind of spin off your Teal app. And while I'm at, I already preloaded some documentation here. The most important part is the init function, really. As Pavel already mentioned, the init function will return something like a nameless object with UN server, which then will pass into the Shiny framework, right? We have the data modules. Those are 2 required arguments so that you can define the data to be used within your Teal data or all kind of analysis that you do with your Teal app. So if I run this real quick, then you can see that right off the bat, I don't even need to do additional programming. The filter panel's already there. So this is a very simple module just to toggle between 2 dataset, iris and mtcars. So you get all of this, all the filter panel feature just from a simple, less than 20 lines of code, right? All right, let's pick it up a notch a little bit. This time, I'm picking a module from, again, our available modules already. And while I talk, I'm just going to load this real quick. So this is from a Teal module clinical. This is one of our Teal module R package that we have that's focusing more on clinical trials. We also have a sample data R package in Atom format. We call it SCDA. If you're interested to do some sample data in this format, this is another great open source R package that we develop. As you can see, I'm pulling the demographic and the ADAE adverse events data. The same concept, init function, data, modules. There's some, the header is a good, also is a good rule of thumb to provide some context for your audience. But you can see here we have more parameters to fill in with this module that's called TMT events. And that's okay. I mean, it kind of depends how the module developed by the module developer. But once you fulfill that, then you can simply just run the app again. So you can see here the module developer decided, we want to have the reporter feature, we want to show our code feature, and the debug info feature. So that's what's great about Teal. You can add or remove features that you may or may not need for your module. And that's great. I think, do I still have some time, Vidya, or am I close to done?
Okay, I think we can dive into some questions. We have a few great questions.
Okay. Can I finish up a little bit before I do that? Again, I just want to plug in these are the Posit Cloud link that I mentioned earlier. You can create a Posit Cloud account, click on that link, and you can play around with Teal. For those that are more advanced, you can download our Docker image. We have a public Docker image on that as well. These are just some examples of another categories of Teal Gallery. We have exploratory and safety as well. I think we have like 3 more. If you're not familiar with R, but still want to explore Teal, then this is, we also publish it into a public website. So this is great for those who just want to see what Teal looks like. So that's great. We are part of Farmerverse, so the best way to reach out to us is by either reach out for GitHub issues, or we have our own channel in Farmerverse workspace under Teal. And if you want to collaborate with us, feel free to contribute in GitHub or join us on the Teal channel. Or if you're an organization wanting to adopt Teal and co-develop it, you can get in touch with me or Chendi, and that's my email address right there. Again, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for those who has been contributing. This has been a long process of collaboration and innovation, and we're so glad to see these faces, and we look forward to see more faces in a year ahead. Thanks again for listening. I hope this has been quite educational. Thank you.
Thanks for a wonderful introduction of Teal and showing the quick taste of Teal, which I can only assume would have taken days worth of work. Let's quickly dive into a few questions.
Sure.
Okay, I think this is like a spoiler kind of question, but I'll ask it anyway. Typically, Karen asks, typically SAS is preferred language for formal reporting and review of clinical trial data. How has your experience been with using Teal for similar purposes and ensuring GXP compliance? Are you using both RShiny and SAS?
So this is a tricky question. So it is true that SAS has its place in the pharma world, and I'm not going to claim that we just remove it completely just in a day or two. I think that a key factor in our success, sort of success internally at least, is some kind of management support in the transition from SAS into open source products such as R. I'm not going to claim that it's only R, it is R, Python, and whatever else will appear. That decision and that journey has started quite a while ago, and we have been supported by that, and hence we did have a freedom or resources to create those packages and all of the things that you have seen. Right now, we are in the process of transitioning so that our studies are trying to start working in R, to have, let's say, majority of R, not 100% R-based submission, but it is a long journey. So right now it's some sort of hybrid solution, but I guess the target would be to have it in R mostly, if not only.
Okay. Marek asks, what are your goals to open sourcing this opposed to keeping it internal?
Oh, interesting question. So there are multiple goals actually behind open sourcing. First of all, like open sourcing, it's very close to our heart, like as engineers and also like project members. It is also sometimes, also I would refer to the change management within Roche. Also Roche does support open sourcing, and we had some approval of opening the code base, and we are doing this with the aim of invite others to co-create the tools that we are using. We are sort of aiming to reach out to other companies, to other pharma companies, to build some kind of working group commonly across the industry to work on the tools instead of each of the company doing its own solutions. We are in the talks with multiple companies, and that's the, let's say, root cause behind the Pharmaverse, as Tony mentioned. So Pharmaverse is an initiative across the pharma that we belong very much into that, to co-create the tools together. And I think that it makes a lot of sense, especially in the field, like in the common, let's say, movement into the open sourcing. We already heard the keynote yesterday, so I guess we have all the details, all the benefits, pluses behind doing this yesterday, on the yesterday session.
Okay, awesome. So it was really amazing talking about Teal. And if you have any other questions, join us in the Ask the Speakers in the Slack, and you can reach Pavel and Tony. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for having us. Enjoy your conference.
Thanks for having us.